Hashtag script 06, did ancient India have nuclear weapons? The evidence is disturbing. Category, ancient history/suppressed knowledge. Estimated runtime, 10 to 12 minutes. SEO target, ancient nuclear war, Mahabharata nuclear weapons, Mohenjo-Daro radioactivity. Hashtag thumbnail concept. Dark background. Split image, ancient Sanskrit manuscript on left, nuclear explosion mushroom cloud on right. Bold text, they had it first. Red accent stripe. Hashtag hook, midnight to 0:30. In 1909, archaeologists excavating the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro in modern-day Pakistan found something that defied explanation. Dozens of skeletons, scattered in the streets, mid-stride, as if they'd been stopped dead instantly. Radioactive. Still emitting elevated radiation levels thousands of years later. The official explanation? Nobody has one. But the ancient texts of India do. Hashtag section 1, the Mahabharata weapon, 0:30 to 2:30. The Mahabharata, written between 400 BCE and 400 CE, describes a weapon called the Brahmastra. Quote from the text. A single projectile charged with all the power of the universe. An incandescent column of smoke and flame, as bright as 10,000 suns, rose in all its splendor. It was an unknown weapon, an iron thunderbolt, a gigantic messenger of death, which reduced to ashes the entire race of the Vrishnis and the Andhakas. When J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, was asked about the Trinity nuclear test in 1945, he quoted the Bhagavad Gita. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. He wasn't being poetic. He was recognizing something. Later, Oppenheimer was asked if Trinity was the first nuclear detonation in history. His answer stopped everyone in the room. Yes. In modern times. Hashtag section 2, the physical evidence, 2:30 to 5 o'clock. Mohenjo-Daro. Excavated in the 1920s, the city showed signs of a catastrophic event circa 2000 BCE. Skeletons found holding hands, collapsed mid-movement, no war wounds. An epicenter of destruction radiating outward. Geologist Francis Taylor measured radiation levels significantly above background levels. The city's clay and stone showed signs of vitrification, melting at temperatures above 1,500 degrees Celsius. No known ancient technology produces that kind of heat. Rajasthan, India, 1992. Indian government closes off a large area near Jodhpur. Reason given, radioactive anomaly. Local news reports unusual cancer clusters dating back centuries. A layer of radioactive ash covers approximately 5 square miles. Scientists estimate the event occurred roughly 8,000 to 12,000 years ago. The Libyan desert glass. Scattered across a 6,500 square kilometer area of the Sahara. Pure silica glass formed at temperatures above 1,600 degrees Celsius. Age, approximately 28 million years, but the formation pattern suggests a surface explosion, not an asteroid. Same glass found in Tutankhamun's burial scarab, the ancient Egyptians considered it sacred. Hashtag section 3, the Vedic connection, 5 to 7:30. The Vedic texts aren't alone. The Ramayana describes a weapon called the Agni Astra, a fire weapon that could not be quenched by water. The text describes strategic targeting, collateral damage considerations, and detonation altitude, details that only make sense if the author had witnessed something real. Then there's the Vimanas, flying craft described in extraordinary technical detail. Blueprints. Construction specs. Fuel ratios. The Vaimanika Shastra describes mercury vortex engines, directional controls, and camouflage technology. In 1895, 8 years before the Wright brothers, an Indian scientist named Shivkar Bapuji Tolpade reportedly built and flew an unmanned aircraft based on Vedic texts. The flight lasted approximately 1,500 feet. The British authorities immediately confiscated his research. Hashtag Section 4, the suppression, 7:30 to 9:30. Here's where it gets interesting. When Robert Oppenheimer died, his private papers contained extensive notes on Sanskrit texts. He was studying the original Mahabharata, not the translated version. The original. In 1979, a Soviet research team requested access to the Mohenjo-Daro excavation records. The request was denied. In 2004, geologist David Davenport published a paper claiming the epicenter of the Mohenjo-Daro destruction matched the blast pattern of a nuclear detonation. The paper was rejected by 3 major journals before finally being published in a smaller publication. The pattern is familiar: unusual evidence, mainstream dismissal, suppression of research, mystery persists. Why would it be suppressed? Because if ancient civilizations had nuclear technology, our entire understanding of human history is wrong. Not just slightly wrong. Catastrophically wrong. Hashtag Section 5, what it means, 9:30 to 11 o'clock. The conventional historical timeline tells us a comfortable story: primitive ancient humans slowly developing tools, then cities, then technology. Linear progress. Forward motion. We are the apex. But what if history isn't linear? What if it's cyclical? The ancient Hindu cosmological concept of yugas describes exactly this: civilizations rising to technological peaks, then collapsing back to primitive states. Over and over again. The Greeks called the lost advanced civilization Atlantis. The Hindus called it Dvarka, and in 2001, archaeologists found it submerged off the coast of Gujarat. Exactly where the text said it would be. Hashtag outro, 11 to 12 o'clock. The evidence isn't conclusive. But it's not nothing either. Radioactive skeletons. Vitrified stone. Ancient texts with nuclear weapon specifications. A physicist who knew Sanskrit quoting ancient battle descriptions when he watched the first nuclear test. Maybe it's coincidence. Or maybe the most advanced weapon we've ever created was invented, and used, so long ago that we call the evidence mythology. Leave a comment below: do you think ancient civilizations had nuclear technology? Drop your evidence, your counterarguments, your theories. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that button. This channel is just getting started. Hashtag B-roll notes. Mohenjo-Daro excavation photos, public domain. Nuclear explosion footage, use carefully, check licensing. Sanskrit manuscript images. Rajasthan aerial shots. Robert Oppenheimer interview footage, archival. AI-generated ancient city reconstructions. Hashtag SEO package. Title options. Did ancient India have nuclear weapons? The evidence is disturbing. They found radioactive skeletons in a 4,000-year-old city. Nobody talks about this. Oppenheimer's secret, what he really said about ancient nuclear war. Tags: Ancient Nuclear War, Mohenjo-Daro, Mahabharata Weapons, Brahmastra, Oppenheimer Sanskrit, Ancient India Technology, Vimana Aircraft, Suppressed History, Ancient Civilizations, Dvarka Archaeology. Description hook: in 1945, the father of the atomic bomb said Trinity was the first nuclear detonation, in modern times. What did he mean by that? Estimated production time, 3 to 4 hours with AI tools. Monetization potential, high, history plus conspiracy crossover, evergreen topic.